And so he said, well, we'll go back and look at all of the data we have. We'd like to go in a caucus to make sure that we've presented everything we have, and we'll come back on. So he asked for a 5-minute caucus. That caucus lasted for a half hour. And I thought, well, what they're doing is they're running some calculations to come up with, you know, what the best temperature would be or the lowest they would accept. They came back on a half hour later, and now it wasn't the Vice President of Engineering speaking, who had spoke before, it was my boss. And he came back on and said they'd reassessed all the data. And based on assessment of all the data, they conclude that it's okay to proceed on with the launch as planned. Now, they didn't give any temperature at all. It kind of took me aback a little bit. I didn't quite understand that. And then some fellow from NASA at Marshall said, well, we need that launch recommendation in writing and signed by a Morton Thiokol official. I knew who that was supposed to be, me. That's why I was the Cape. I had to prove it. And I did the smartest thing I did in my entire life. I refused to sign the launch recommendation because I didn't understand it. I didn't feel good about it. So I forced my boss to sign it and fax it down to me. He got even with me later. But we proceeded on with the launch based on this reassessment, which was obviously pressured by NASA, which surprised me because what happened is that the engineers back in Utah got themselves in a position where they were essentially told to prove it would fail. Now, proving it will fail is a different question than saying it's safe to fly. They could not prove that it would fail, which was really true. And it was the burden of proof got switched. And you've got to be careful of things like that.